Good afternoon, everybody. Appreciate you joining the Versa AMA, Project AMA, with our special guests, the team from SquidGrow. We'll get started in just a second. I see Shitashi and RW have joined up, so we will give folks a few minutes. Just welcome everybody, appreciate it, and we will get started here momentarily. All right, why don't we go ahead and get started? Welcome everybody. Shibtoshi and RW, are you both there? Can you hear me?
Yeah, thanks for having us.
I'm here. Yeah, thanks for having us. I'm just
Absolutely.
checking some messages real quick. I thought I saw something from one of our team members.
I had an
Maybe I was.
I had an issue with the whole co-host thing, but you've got
Yeah, it may
Okay.
have been I saw
Yeah. So we need.
Shitoshi joined too, and so I put you both, and then I think just whoever accepted that one first. So
okay.
Yeah. So Dane also is part of the team, and I believe he is in here somewhere.
let's see where Dean's at.
Let's see. He said he requests.
Is it Crypto Blast?
Yeah, Crypto Blast.
Okay, I got him.
Should be good, I think.
All right. Let's see if he's connecting here. Well, welcome, guys. My name's David with Versa Finance, and I cannot tell you how excited we are to have you guys. We have been watching you very closely. You are absolutely the talk of the crypto space right now. I have just watching the charts. I've been stalking the TG just to kind of prepare to host this with you guys, and it is just the excitement with this project is unbelievable. It's nothing like I've ever seen. For me personally, I mean, I've been in the crypto space a while, but I've certainly missed some of those other projects that that you guys have been so successful in the past as well. And it really means a lot to our team that you would take the time out to speak with us. So welcome.
Yeah, thank you for having us. And real quick, while I'm noticing him, can you unmute the huntsman?
Sure. There it is. Does he have a different? What's his Twitter name?
It is huntsman underscore SG.
Does he have his
He,
hand
he,
up?
he just requested right now.
Yep.
Got it. All right.
Good to
Looks
go.
like we got Dane up as well now. So Huntsman, you're there as well. Perfect. Well, thank you guys. It's great to have all of you. Like I said, as I've kind of been preparing to host this with you guys, I've spent a lot of time in the chat, and I think it'd be remiss to not just recognize the SquidGrow community right off the bat and what is going on with this project. I go to a work meeting and I come back to the chat, and there are literally thousands of messages that are being sent, and obviously the charts are speaking for it. Twitter is out of control with this thing. Thousands, tens of thousands of tweets going out about this project. What does that mean to you guys to have the community already embracing this so early on? I mean, you guys launched June 18th, so we're, what is that, 41 days in, and you have received this kind of feedback. I mean, 6,000 people in your TG. What does that mean to you guys?
I mean, man, for me, I mean, it's super humbling to have such a following behind the project. So many people backing us and going out and spreading awareness of the project. I mean, it's just super humbling. In fact, we were just trending on Twitter earlier this morning after one of the raids that the community led. I mean, it's crazy to me. I mean, it really, like I've said in the past, it's deja vu, early days of Shiba Inu all over again. I mean, that's what it reminds me of. And SquidGrow Joe, also says it reminds him of the early days of Safe Moon. So I mean, that's big. I mean, the super humbling, man.
And the success so early to be able to, I've watched some of the Twitter raids take place, and how you go, and the group that's within the TG organizing that, and to take a personality like Safe Moon Joe, and he is now SquidGrow Joe. Here basically happened this week. I mean, I listened in on the AMA yesterday afternoon, last night, and I mean, he's all in. And to get somebody that's out there promoting the product, and to get those types of people on board, I mean, I think it just speaks volume to the community, the effort. But then also, I mean, we're going to get into this, but clearly the product that's behind all of this, and it really is exciting. And it's been exciting for me to watch, as I'm sure it's very exciting for you guys. So with that, I really just wanted to recognize the community. I think that what I've seen there is just it's phenomenal. And so why don't we start with introductions? I know we got Shibtoshi, we have you, Ardub, Dane, and the Huntsman up here representing SquidGrow. So why don't each of you just really briefly tell us your role on the project, and then we'll dive into it, go into some of the project details, and get into some Q&A, and then at the end here, call some folks up to ask some questions.
Okay, perfect. Well, hey, everybody, how's it going? I'm Shibtoshi. I'm the owner of SquidGrow. SquidGrow was conceptualized in November of 21. Anybody that has listened to my previous AMAs, I've always been an investor in crypto. This is my first project. So back in November of 21, when I decided that I was going to launch a project, there was definitely a strong learning curve for me. And through the duration of me trying to get a better understanding for Solidity, which is what the contract code is written in, and how to deploy and run a project. Another project, Squid Games, the scam coin, caught on, so we kind of shelved it. But backtracking a little bit, my background is essentially I got into cryptocurrency in 2011. My first crypto investment was Bitcoin. And I held Bitcoin for a long time, for 7 years actually, before I started pulling decent profits from it. I first heard of Bitcoin in 2010, and I just kind of, figured it was some kind of scam, didn't know much about it. Back then, you could get 11,000 Bitcoin for $10, or for, $20,000. $10,000. You could get 11,000 Bitcoins for $10,000. So they were a little under $1. As I said, I didn't start buying Bitcoin until 2011, and I only got into that because a group of my friends were actually into Bitcoin, and they were using it to as currency in private poker games online. So after I realized that I had some friends that were actually interested in it, I started picking their brain on it. They kind of explained it to me, and they directed me to all the Reddit posts about Bitcoin and the idea behind it. And I loved it, man. So I fully embraced it, and that kind of sent me down the rabbit hole in the crypto space. The story that I tell often, obviously, I can go on and on for hours about, all my crypto endeavors and all the ins and outs and every investment that I've done. But, that would take up majority of this time. So I just try to consolidate and kind of jump around. But in between the Bitcoin, as everybody's aware, I invested into Shiba Inu in 2020. And the story behind that was I had a real good friend of mine that was into the stock market. And there was a day that he was bragging about a 30% gain in the market. And I just was kind of cracking up about that because that's terrible. 30% gains in a year on a big chunk of money, that's not very good, in my personal opinion. So I started trying to educate him on the whole crypto thing, and he was very hesitant, kind of much like myself in the beginning. But unbeknownst to me, he kind of took an interest in it and started researching, and he had a group of friends that were in like a foreign community. I don't remember exactly if it was Discord or where it was. This group was, but he came across Shiba Inu, and they were all about it. And he started talking to me about it. And at first, I was really hesitant. I was trying to do my research on it, but I was half-assing it because it was something that I really wasn't interested in investing in, if I'm being honest. But the persistency of my friend had me kind of research it a little more. So then when I decided I was going to start buying into it, I found out the dollar amounts that these 7 friends had invested in. And they each did $1,000 each. And I thought it would just be hilarious if, I owned more than them, all together. So I started my buys. And my very first buy into SHIB was August 1st. And it was over 700 days ago. Now I actually posted the numbers in TG the other day, but I started my buying, and just almost immediately, like, we're all upside down on it. So then it turns into just a holding game. I mean, obviously nobody wants to sell for a loss, but while we were all upside down, the community started growing, and a lot like what's going on in my project. The community was growing, and they're going out spreading awareness, and I saw strong potential in it. And as we all know, it turned into a long-term hold for me, and it was one of the most life-changing investments I've ever made. Now, I've made a lot of money in Bitcoin and Ethereum and other projects, but I mean, I've killed it in Shiba Inu. And yeah, I've not got any money out of Shiba Inu, and I have my reasons for that. But I really enjoy the camaraderie in the community, and in that community, there's people that actually know me there. And kind of like being a pillar of such a major community, if you were to start going against that and essentially dumping on the chart, it's like a betrayal in my opinion, so that's kind of my view on that. But kind of fast forward, so the conception of SquidGrow, over the duration of the time I've been in the crypto space, I've noticed more and more that there's more, as everybody's calling them right now, bad actors, just scam devs. Actually, the Huntsman and I, the first honeypot I was ever involved in, actually talked him into buying this project that I thought was very promising. And obviously, I know how to do my research on projects, so I thought it was a legit project. And the Huntsman and I got into a holder battle, which essentially, we were looking at each other's wallets and noticing that, the Huntsman bought more, so now he's a higher holder than me. So when he goes to sleep, I'm buying more than him, and then he wakes up, sees I bought more, and he buys more than me. So we were just kind of going back and forth, fighting for the top wallet. And it was one of these days, I woke up and discovered that the devs had removed all the liquidity, and that was kind of eye-opening for me because it was the first time, and it was substantial money. So it was kind of like made my stomach drop. It's something that I hadn't experienced before. And after that, I luckily I've only been involved in one other scam since then, but a lot of my friends have done investments and got scammed by the devs, either removing liquidity or holding 80% of supply, and then they dump 80% of supply type of thing. And one of my other friends, his very first time investing into crypto, I finally got him to dabble in it. He dropped a large amount of money into a fair launch, no cap pre-sale, and he got wrecked on it. It was a scam, and he essentially was writing cryptocurrency off as a scam altogether, like the whole market. And it got me thinking, like, how many people dabble into crypto for the first time and get wrecked, and then just write the whole cryptocurrency off as a scam. It kind of got me thinking, like, it's a major problem in the market right now, with all these scams. So kind of fast forwarding a little bit, I got pulled into a private whale room, and in that private whale room I met RW. And over the duration of some months, we got to know each other, talking on a personal level, and we shared the same views of the market and where it's at, and the the downfalls currently with all these scam tokens popping up, and how people don't know how to do proper research on a project, and they're just handing these scammers like money, essentially. So we decided we were going to come out with a project of our own, based on morals, our personal morals, and just to give the community a safe place to invest their money. So it was at that time that I had told Ardub, look, I have a contract that's already been written. I've already got logos ready to go for it. I shelved it some time back because there was another project that came out and was in the limelight. And we decided we were going to go with it, not to jump on the whole squid trend, but to kind of do our own thing. Like, we're not, another Squid Game token. We're the first SquidGrow token. And on that note, we're not setting out to like overthrow any cryptocurrencies, in particular. We're not trying to like dethrone any of the big cryptos. It's good for the crypto space, to have thriving projects in the market, for as a whole. Um, so we're not trying to, take anybody's shine, from away from any other projects. We're just doing our own thing and doing our best to make it something big. A lot of people ask me, including SquidGrow Joe, why would you do something like this? With the amount of money you have, why wouldn't you just go buy an island and retire and live out your days? Well, first of all, I love cryptocurrency. I mean, it's a major part of my life and has been for some time. But you let's say, I rip out a bunch of money, and I'm no longer in the crypto game. That's fine. I've got money to live on, my family's taken care of. But what am I leaving behind? What changes have I made, on the space that I love so much? There isn't. I've made no changes, and with SquidGrow, like, what we're trying to do is, leave behind like a legacy. SquidGrow is going, in my opinion, is going to stand the test of time. We launched in the bear market. It's debatable whether it's the bottom or not, but we launched in the bear market, and the idea behind that was, when we come through the bear market on the other side, and everything starts turning green again, we're going to be well established. We're going to have such a strong army. We're going to have a big community. We're going to be primed and ready to go to hit that billion market cap and above. We're going to have utilities and exchange listings already. Currently we're on several exchanges. We got another one dropping on Monday. Obviously, we're always in talks with new exchanges, making plans for the future, developing utilities. And, I mean, it was all kind of like a calculated part of the plan. So with that being said, I don't want to hog too much of the mic. I'll pass it up to RW. So
Okay. Yeah, I have some questions to go back to on that, but Ardo, why don't you give your intro real quick?
Cool. Thanks, Shib. Great introduction. And thanks for having me as well, everyone. So I'll be brief, but I guess I got into the crypto space as well in 2011. Initially, I came in as an investor, obviously buying Bitcoin at the time. And then over the following years, I kind of on and off traded, top 200 kind of coins. And then eventually landed in the BSC space approximately a year and a half ago. And at that time, I was an investor as well. And obviously, when you first come into the BSC space, you have no idea that it is, the unruly place that it is, and you kind of believe everything that you see and read. So, I fell victim to a lot of those things that Shibtoshi was just talking about as well. We all have those experiences with our first rug pull and honeypot, and it's a good learning curve. Apologies. Can you still hear me? I just had someone
Yes.
try to call. Oh,
Yep.
I had someone try to call me. That's all.
Yeah, you cut out briefly, but we still got you.
Okay, great. Yeah, anyway, so I landed in the BSC after some time as an investor. I actually started working for an elite whale group, calling promising projects. And then shortly after that, I landed in a private whale group, which, as Shibtoshi explained, that's where we met each other. And he's kind of given a really good introduction from there. But in terms of myself in relation to SquidGrow, initially I was kind of handling a lot of the marketing and all of those types of, making connections and all of that type of stuff until we brought in the Blockchain Brothers. And I guess that's kind of a good segue really into introducing Dane.
Great. Dane?
Hey guys, can you hear me okay?
Yes, sir.
Right on. Yeah, so I am a leader of the Blockchain Brothers, which is a marketing agency that works specifically in DeFi. We operate a little differently than most marketing companies that sort of operate on the traditional advertising scale. We actually get really close to the projects and come onto the team and work at a frantic pace to move with them at we all know is kind of crypto speed, where it just never stops, never sleeps, 7 days a week. You put in 20, 21-hour days. So we've come on board with SquidGrow, and we've been having a good time, to say the least, doing all sorts of unconventional marketing, mobilizing that massive army that we've spoken about, getting on exchanges, getting in talks with bigger tier ones currently, all sorts of fun, exciting things to look forward to. And a marketing thing that I don't like to hype until they're about to drop. So I can't really say much about what's coming, but for anyone that's seen what we've done, we've been, pumping out 6, 7, 8 moves a day, and the community is just on fire, shilling and rating and getting attention of all sorts of people in the space. So it is very fun. With that said, my background, sort of a bit of a mixed up one. I started out as an athlete and then became a coach after my college career. Got into real estate, bartending, multi-level marketing. I did have a degree in cybersecurity. So you could say I was a little bit confused and sort of a jack of all trades. That's when I found cryptocurrency in 2016. Really just took an obsession to learning about it, reading about it, watching TA channels. Was never really a good trader, but I kept learning and learning and learning, and that really got me into it in the year 2020 when I started getting involved with project management leadership. I worked on several high-profile projects, notably Veracity, VRA, who's a proof of view token that got listed on KuCoin. A lot of people know them. I helped create Hokkaido Inu as one of the lead admins, which segued into Kishu, as well as worked on that. And then I also created the first rewards token besides Moonrat in the BSC space called HODL token. We took that 200 million. I came on board with Floki shortly after that, helped them go to 3.5 million. More recently, I'm the leader of Catcoin, which went to 70 million in this bear market. And now we've come on board with SquidGrow, and I must say this is my favorite project I've worked with by far. So that's a little bit about me. I think that's enough said, but yeah, let's keep that ball rolling.
All right. I appreciate it, guys. And again, thank you all very much for your time. I know there's so much going on with your project, and to take the time out to connect with the communities, just really appreciate it. I know you guys have been pumping through AMAs, and it's just phenomenal to be able to connect with the leaders of a project, let alone a project that is having the success that you all are having at SquidGrow so early on. I want to touch on something that RW you hit on a little bit, as well as Shibtoshi. When in November of 21, when the other token launched, and I'm familiar with that. I think some of us have probably seen that video of the guy watching it live when the liquidity was pulled on that token. Did that make you, when you went to launch SquidGrow, did you think about changing kind of the affiliation with Squid in general? And if not, what made you ultimately decide to move forward with that?
Yeah, I mean, it's something that RW and I definitely talked about because there's such a negative sentiment with anything squid related because of that, and we talked about it in length. But at the end of the day, it's not really the name that defines the project. It's the team and the community. So there was not a doubt in my mind that if we could gain some traction, we would be able to get a strong community to rally behind us. um, but in the early days of it, yeah, it was something that we had taken into consideration about possibly changing the name before we did the launch. But we're not Squid Game, we're SquidGrow, but it is still a Squid token. And, some people have a very negative view of that. But at this point in time, I hope majority of the people listening and obviously the community, no longer really associates us with that. We're kind of, trailblazers of our own path. We're doing our own thing in our own way, and in my personal opinion, we've been doing it quite well. RW, if you want to touch further on that, that's kind of my 2 cents.
Yeah, for sure. So obviously, we all know that there's a pretty negative connotation with the whole squid thing because of the Squid Game token. But as Shivtoshi said, yeah, we talked about it a lot. And really we thought, the best approach here was to just take it head on. And let's really try and, change that negativity around the whole meme and the whole name altogether. And as Shibtoshi said as well, I think that looking at our community and looking at our chart and what we have achieved so far, I really think that we are succeeding in changing that. Well, I hope we are anyway.
Absolutely. I think you are being very successful in that. And to touch on that a little bit too, one of the things that, one of the foundations of the project that I heard you say is really about having a safe investment for people that choose to invest in SquidGrow, a safe investment, the security around it. With that, and RW mentioned kind of the wild, wild west of the BSC at times. So what made you come to the BSC as opposed to, one of the other chains, given that that is somewhat of the perception of the BSC at times? Is that kind of the main goal, is you want to change that perception altogether with a really successful safe project?
Well, yes, that is. Go ahead, RW.
You go, Shib, you go.
I was gonna say, so yes, I mean that's it exactly. But kind of going back a little bit, we actually almost so now that we've announced it, I'll go ahead and touch base on it. But the plan was always to originally we were gonna launch on the ERC and eventually bridge to the BSC. But we decided to do it the opposite way, and the reason why we launched on the BSC chain first is, in my personal opinion, uh, there's more of like the everyday investors on the BSC chain. Some people are intimidated by the ERC because of the gas fees and so on and so forth. So I figured, we launch on the BSC, start there, rally the community on the BSC chain, and gather a strong following. As I said, in my personal opinion, the BSC is not as intimidating as the ERC network. Gas fees or whatever it might be. Me personally, I love both chains, but obviously I'm a big ERC guy myself. But with that being said, we decided to launch on the BSC chain with plans to bridge, which we have announced. So we will be bridging to the ERC network. It's something that normally we are under promise and over deliver, but something of the magnitude of a bridge, after we got to a point where we knew the bridge is going to happen, we decided to talk to our whales about it and then talk to the community about it. And so we actually announced that utility before it was actually live. And it allowed us to get some feedback on it, and some suggestions. We got a lot of different suggestions on how we could go about doing it. But ultimately, the community trusts and believe in the team, and believes in the fact that we're going to do what's best for the project. So they essentially are leaving it to us to handle the bridge on our own. And what I mean by that is, so we're just going to do the OG style of bridging. We're going to have a bridge, and we're going to have a new ERC contract that's going to have a separate liquidity pool. And, there will be opportunities to arbitrage between both pools. But the driving force behind the ERC chain is, not only does it broaden our reach, of investors, because there's ERC investors that are real heavy over there, but they won't touch BSC projects. I mean, I personally know, whales that won't invest into my project because of the chain that we're on. So we're going to bring our project to them. And also, with that being said, it's a lot easier to get listed on some of these tier one exchanges if you're ERC as well. And it's not the BSC versus the ERC; it's SquidGrow as a whole. Just spreading awareness of the project, and just having that broader outreach to reach new investors into the project.
Yeah, great. No, I can say that, I started ERC, and then, the gas fees, especially, at the beginning of the year when Ethereum was in the 3,000 range, and, you're paying several $100s to invest a small amount. I mean, that was definitely a deciding factor for me to pursue more BSC projects, just for me personally as an investor. So I'm obviously very, very happy that you chose the BSC, because I probably would not have known about you guys otherwise until you bridged over to BSC. So I think it's a great approach, and I love the answer that, it's kind of your everyday investor. I've heard you speak to that you've really wanted to give an opportunity to, an everyday investor to make some money. And I've heard you talk about, whether that's to get money to put food on a table, or, a single mom that's investing. I really respect that answer. And I know that resonates very, very strongly with the community, and you see the community responding to that. And I really applaud you for having that mindset. I think it's probably, somebody that has had the success that you guys have had, it's easy to lose sight of that. And I think that's another key thing about SquidGrow, is that you guys have held on to that. You guys have stayed grounded with that success, and you're making a project that is safe for, the everyday person. And I can't speak on behalf of the community, but I know, in sitting in my shoes, that's something that I genuinely respect about this project.
Thank you. And that's, I think it comes back to, although we are, Shibtoshi and myself are investors on other chains as well, it comes back to the fact that, the place that we really met each other was on the BSC, and it really sparked our conversation about the BSC in general, and about, all the unruly devs and different behaviors that were happening on the BSC. So, that was our real motivation to kind of, start off on this side, and make something real for the community here before we bridged over to the ETH side as well.
Yeah, and just to touch base real quick on scamming and whatnot, I just want to take this opportunity to say that we are not affiliated with any other Squid token. It's been brought to my attention that there was a SquidGrow that just launched on the Ethereum chain. We are not affiliated with them or any other Squid token. So if they are advertising as a spinoff of us, as far as like our team being involved with their project, it's just a scam, guys. Currently, the only project we have is SquidGrow on the BSC chain. And when we do branch to the ERC, obviously we will properly announce it. But just keep that in mind. I saw another Squid token launch on the BSC. It's in private or pre-sale right now, trying to act as if it's it's our team that's behind it. just be careful, guys, and do your research. And if you have any questions about other squid tokens, please bring it to the TG, and ask to speak to a team member or an admin, and we can get it sorted out. But just be careful out there, because as we've said, there's a lot of scammers with bad intentions.
Yeah, and on that note, just to follow up, you're doing something good when you have like a squid or a grow token being posted like every 10 minutes, and that seems to be the trend right now, and has been now for a few weeks. So it's nice to see that. I mean, that's always a good sign. Whenever you've seen big meme coins, this typically always happens. So as annoying as it is, it's kind of a bullish signal for us. The fact that so many people are trying to backpack off our curtails and use the name to their advantage.
Yeah, I appreciate the warning there with those other projects, and definitely stay safe and stay connected with the official channels of communication, everybody. And Dane, perfect segue. I mean, talking about the success, RW, I saw you post this in the TG earlier today, and I want to just read off some of this, and it speaks to, I can't remember if this was the weekly update that you posted or if this is just some of the successes, but when you talk about the success of SquidGrow already at, again, 40 some days into the project, you're already on 3 exchanges, a 4th going live, I believe on Monday. You got the CLS partnership, the blockchain brothers, your ETH bridge is announced. You already re-upped your staking pools. The various AMAs you've had this week with Gollum, Caesar. I attended the USA one last night. CMC and CoinGecko, I believe, happened this week. You're a top gainer in CMC, trending top 3 on DEX tools. I mean, this list just goes on and on and on. Trending number 1 on crypto.com. The one that I saw, I think this morning, CMC most visited coin, beating out Bitcoin, Ethereum, SHIB, etc. I mean, this is some major success. You take any one of these things, and that's a good week for a project. And you guys have knocked all of that out, everything that I just mentioned, basically in this past week. And I know a lot goes into it leading up to, those things occurring. But how do you maintain this momentum? I mean, you guys have come out like a freight train, just, full guns blazing. Freight train might not be the right one, maybe rocket ship, but you guys have come out just so fast, so hard in the crypto space and really taken it by storm. How do you maintain this momentum going forward?
It's all about pre-planning. Everything that we are currently triggering on, we have already had in place. So when we get to a certain point, we trigger, the next round of marketing. And that's where the blockchain brothers comes in. With the blockchain brothers and Dane, they are able to adjust the marketing plans as needed, on the fly, day to day. So there's no calendar of what we're going to do, throughout the month, and just kind of go down the list and check it off. Like, if the market's ever changing, so if the market changes one way or another, we adjust our marketing accordingly and attack that aspect of it. And it comes back to just pre-planning and having people in place, so if the market shifts a certain way, we're ready to go. We're not scrambling to try to attack the market in that way, or type of thing. You follow what I'm saying?
Absolutely. And I think it's one of the things that I really like about this project is that you guys are really treating it like a business. And first off, I love the under promise over deliver, but I also like that you bring the utilities basically when they're ready to launch, and it's kind of that, hey, surprise, this is ready to go. And I think that gives you so much flexibility to exactly what you're saying with, being able to evaluate the market conditions and shift accordingly. Whereas, if you had said, a traditional white paper puts the roadmap out there, Q1, we're going to do X, Y, and Z. Q2, we're going to do this. And you immediately get those questions of, okay, when this, when that, because you already announced it. And you're almost stuck to that playbook, if you will. And it seems like you guys are setting it up in such a way that, hey, market conditions seem right for us to take advantage of this utility. And you guys are easily, it seems like you're really fluid in how you're doing things, that you can shift your focus to something to take advantage of an opportunity because the market speaks to that or is wanting that. And I think that sets you guys up really well. So is there anything you guys want to touch on, just that approach to how you've set up your project and how you're running it?
Well, I'm running the project essentially through the eyes of an investor. You know, I am an investor, and me personally, as an investor, one of the things that I cannot stand is when a project comes out and promises the community something and creates hype based on that announcement. And you know, with the market conditioning or unforeseen issues arising, you know, that utility or um, marketing push gets pushed back, you know, and it kind of lets down the community in a way. And that's one of the main reasons why we're running the project the way we are. You know, we're running it, you know, as investors. You know, as an investor, what is it we want to see? Do we want the dev team coming out and promising X, Y, and Z, and then an unforeseen issue comes up and we have to make an announcement saying this has been pushed? And no, nobody likes that. So you know, we took the stance that, you know, we're always working on different things in the background. And you know, if the investors aren't, you know, expecting a utility to drop and we just drop it on them, you know, it's under promise over deliver. You know, it's a surprise. You know, here, this is what we got for you, you know, this week type of thing. And it definitely, I think, you know, helps maintain a level of trust, you know, because, you know, developers of a project, as I said, if they start promising this and that and they can't deliver on it, you know, it kind of loses, you know, the community loses faith in the project as a whole. And that's kind of one of the reasons why we've taken the stance, you know, that we have.
Well, and
I
I
think
think oh, sorry, go ahead, Ardub.
I was just going to say, I think as you said as well, like, you know, it's a crazy amount of work that goes into a project like this. And fortunately, from day one, both Shibtoshi and I, you know, we had the same vision, but also the same motivation and work ethic. And, you know, we've been putting in crazy hours, some days doing like 20-hour days, having very minimal sleep. I mean, it's 5 a.m. for me right now. But fortunately, we were able to find the Blockchain Brothers, and they are just, you know, there's something else when it comes to a marketing team. Like, they're able to, you know, kind of adjust accordingly, as Shib said, pretty much exactly to the way that we work. And I must say, Dane has been doing, you know, the other morning, Dane went to bed at 10:30 a.m. or something. So, you know, it's a real testament to how hard everyone has been working and working together very well as well.
I appreciate that, Ardub, and I just want to add to that. Yeah, it is. Satoshi mentioned it's about scheduling and planning ahead of time. That's a big part of it too that people don't realize, because, like, let's say you want to get on an exchange like a tier one, you know, that's like a 2 to 4 week process if you're lucky. And then even for some smaller ones, that's like a 3 to 5 day process if you're lucky. So, you know, you have to plan these things well out in advance. And oftentimes, you know, people are asking, what's coming today? What's coming today? You know, we're looking at what's coming next week or a month from now already. So that when those things hit, you know, it seems like you're doing stuff every day, but in reality, you've already been working to get those things lined up well in advance. That helps a lot to keep this steady stream of things rolling out, because the reality is, for any project in BSC and DeFi that's trying to break through in this market, you have to be in a frenzy. You know, you'll talk to anyone that's been in projects like this from the past, and they'll tell you stories about the lack of sleepless nights, you know, all these things they did to cope with it, you know, popping Adderalls, whatever it is people needed to do to stay focused, because you can't let your foot off the gas. And we really try not to on that sense, because we understand that. But, you know, the nice thing too is, like, when we do sleep, even though we have pretty much most time zones covered, when we do sleep, the community is there to keep that fire alive. Like earlier, for instance, the Huntsman was raiding for like 3 hours in chat. It started with like 20, 30 people and grew to about 90, 100 in our voice chat just organically in the course of that time. And I saw a price go up by like 2, 3 million just from that. So, you know, when you do market aggressively like this, which I do believe is needed and necessary, you know, you start to generate a community that loves that and can be, used as a weapon. And then when you have people like Huntsman that realize that and do that basically as a volunteer, man, it's such a cool thing and such a powerful thing. So it's fun to be in the frenzy, but yeah, you have to be all about it and you have to have that passion. And for sure, RDub and Shibtoshi are two of the most passionate project leaders I've ever seen, if not the most. So it's very um, exciting to work with them and to help assist in that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I really do like that. I like the mindset from looking at it as from an investor's eyes. Now, I kind of look at some of these, and if you go back to like a traditional fiat investment, like just the stock exchanges, and you look at, let's say, a technology company, you don't have Apple, putting out there, that they have their two big events every single year, and they're not putting out there that, hey, quarter one, we're going to develop a flying car, and, quarter three, whatever that they're going to do. And then that gets baked into that investment early on because they think, hey, here's a great product that Apple's coming out with. It skyrockets the price, and then that's either a product flop or whatnot, and it brings it crashing down. And I feel like if you equate that over to the crypto space, these projects that come out and they say, oh yeah, this is planned, this is planned, this is planned, that gets baked into that price so quickly from the onset of that project that then when those things don't happen or they get delayed, there's only one way to go on a project like that, and that's going to go down. Whereas when you're building that hype and then you're dropping these surprise announcements and people see the value of those utilities, it's the exact opposite. And there's only one way that the price is going to go is because you're adding more value to the project and it's actually there and you see it, and it's going to continue to drive the price up. So just again, commend you guys for how you're approaching this from running the project, the investment mindset. It really is great to see. And I think it goes back to exactly what you guys are set out to accomplish with a safe, investment that people can trust leaving their money in. And you're accomplishing that. So congratulations on the success so far. Launching at 30K and hitting, I think the last I looked, it was 20 plus million in the span of 40 days is absolutely phenomenal. So why don't we shift a little bit and talk about kind of what is available with SquidGrow today. And if you guys don't mind, can you look at this from maybe like a newbie stance of somebody that may not be familiar with some of these things and just kind of speak to the importance of why you've chosen the path that you have? And when I say that, I'm specifically talking about the tax structure. So you guys have an 8% buy and sell tax with all of it going to the LP. Can you explain a little bit why it's so important to have such a strong LP, why you guys are focused on that? Also your staking, the staking that you have an LP option there. Can you talk a little bit about why you've chosen to focus so strongly on the LP and what that's going to do for you down the road?
Yeah, I can touch base on that. So, obviously, for those that don't know, our market cap could be X, Y, and Z, and you could have, a balance in your wallet of, $10 million. But if you have a balance that high and there's not enough liquidity in the project, you can't pull that amount of money. Um, you know, Higher liquidity in a project definitely attracts bigger investors. And also in the early days of Shiba Inu, anybody that was, knows the story, the liquidity in SHIB was very poor. Um, Essentially, a bunch of people had a lot of money, but you couldn't pull it because there was just no liquidity. Also, in the same breath, um, stronger liquidity keeps the chart more stable. So there was a time where when we first launched, somebody pulling out one BNB would drop the chart 4% because our liquidity pool was not very strong. Now, we have people, pulling money out, and it's has a very low impact on the chart because of our liquidity ratio. So there's definitely been an emphasis put on building liquidity. That's why we injected more money into liquidity. We came out with liquidity staking, which also helps not only our investors, earn a high APY, but it actually helps the project as a whole because it thickens the LP pools.
And so for somebody that is familiar with the BSC, who sees a tax structure of the traditional, let's just say 10%, you see 1% going to LP, 2% going to a dev wallet, 3% going to marketing, and I don't know what I'm at, 4% left for some kind of reward.
Okay.
Are you?
Yes. So I
Sorry.
think where you're going with it is marketing funds isn't needed. I'm funding everything out of my own personal pocket. I've paid for all the exchange listings, all the billboards, all the marketing, all the buybacks that I've done, the airdrops that I've given to the community. I purchased off the chart myself, and given that out. It's just not needed. I'm more focused on building a stronger long-term project and worried about trying to get the tax to help pay for marketing funds. I can cover that myself. And going into that, I had my plan. I had my X amount of money set aside to help grow my project. And that's what I'm pulling for. If we need money for marketing, it comes from me. If we need to exchange money, then I do the transfer myself. We need to focus on maintaining our market cap and liquidity ratio, and I can't say that I'm doing everything I possibly can to build that LP ratio if some of that transaction fee is going to, say, the marketing wallet. Will it stay that way forever? I can't say. But as of right now, our sole purpose is just to feed the LP pool as much as we possibly can.
Okay. No, I appreciate the explanation, and I think that's really important for people in the BSC to understand. I think this is very different than, again, focused on a safe investment for the community, and it's very different than what I think the traditional BSC project looks like. And so I think for folks to understand where the money for these various activities is coming from, but also the why behind it. So I appreciate the additional explanation there. When you look at kind of the success that SquidGrow has had already, you've introduced the staking, and you've got some great APY out there for your regular staking, which is a 50% APY, and touched on it a little bit with the LP staking, which is a 500% APY. If I understand correctly, that gets reset every 30 days. When you look at the staking wallet right now, I mean, you got a massive amount of tokens that are taking advantage of it, as people should. Why did you guys choose to not have a lock period associated with it? And then how sustainable do you feel like the APYs are in the long term of the project as this continues to grow?
In response to why we don't have a locking period, that goes back to I'm running the project as an investor, and me personally as an investor, I hate locks on staking, personally, and I won't do them myself. So when we decided to drop this utility, again, we took the stance of it as an investor. It's the investor's money, and if they need that money for any reason, whatever it might be, who are we to tell them they can't pull that? Things come up in life that you don't anticipate, that you might have to unfortunately sell down some of your investments. And if an investor has money in crypto, say in our project, and let's say they've got $5,000, right, but it's all staked, and they staked the tokens and locked it, and they lost their job and pay rent or buy food. Who are we to say they can't have access to their money? So in regards to why we don't have a locking period, I hope that gives a proper explanation.
Absolutely.
Can you repeat the second your question?
Oh, the second part of the question was just in terms of the APY. Right now, you have the 50% on the regular staking and the 500% on the liquidity pool staking, and people are really taking advantage of that. I think it's the high 40 percentile range that is staked right now. With that percentile staked, how sustainable are these APYs for the project, and do you feel like it's going to be a meaningful reward moving forward as you continue to grow?
Well, in regards to our APYs on the staking pool, it's something that we adjust accordingly with the market conditions. Obviously, when we first launched the token staking, we offered an over 200% APY. With the percentage of tokens we had staked, I believe at that time it was almost 40%. So let's say 40% of supply is staked in the contract. If we were to offer 100% APY over the duration of the next 12 months, we'd have to give out 40% of the supply. That greatly takes away from the project's ability to do things such as exchange listings and so on and so forth. So we adjust accordingly. Next staking pool, we will reassess the staking APYs. They could go up, they could go down. It's something that we are just kind of adjusting on the fly for, if that makes sense. We are trying to offer APYs that are lucrative to our investors, but also APYs that will not damage the long-term growth of the project. I'd love to be able to give everybody 500% APY, but it would eat up, the total supply.
Yeah, absolutely. It's not sustainable.
Yeah, it's not sustainable long term. So when we first dropped our utilities, we wanted to incentivize, our diamond hand holders. We wanted to incentivize our early investors and give them a lucrative APY. And a lot of people utilize that. But in addressing that, we originally had planned for about 20% of supply to be staked between LP and token. And obviously, we had substantial more than that in the token staking and substantially less in the LP staking. And if we're being honest, the LP staking was set at about 428% APY. But because we had so few people actually utilizing that, they were closer to about 3,000% APY. I mean, there was some stakers pulling down about $1,000 a day, because the way that the pools work is they're not fed from tax. We pre-feed them, so all the tokens that are put in there, are just split up between everybody, and the fewer people in there, obviously, that are utilizing that, the bigger percentage the people that are in there get. So we were able to, unfortunately, we had to drop our APY for the token based on the percentage that we had in there, but we were able to up our APYs on the LP staking to 500, and we can sustain that right now. When those pools expire, as I said earlier, we will reassess the situation and see what a sustainable APY for the next month will be. So I hope that's answered your question.
Oh, absolutely. I appreciate the detail and the explanation. Shifting focus a little bit to exchanges, with the way that you have set up this project, with the focus on, the LP and having a strong liquidity pool. I mean, the focus does really seem that you want to get this project listed, everywhere. Do you have an end goal in mind when it comes to exchanges? I mean, you guys will launch your 4th exchange on Monday, which, again, just pretty unprecedented in the space to be on that many exchanges that quickly. What is your goal and your approach to exchanges?
Well, I'm not going to directly touch on that. I think everybody can probably have a very good idea of what the end goal is. But with that being said, I've hired CLS market makers, and they are one of the top 3 market making companies in the space, and they support all top 50 exchanges. So essentially they can help us, on every exchange that we want to target. I actually think that they handle most of the top 100 exchanges. But, this goes back to pre-planning. We're putting everything in place now that we will need later. If that can kind of give you an idea. I don't want to sit here and, essentially, overpromise or tell
Totally
every,
understand.
where I'm trying to end up, because again, there could be unforeseen issues that arise, during those negotiations and conversations. But I think everybody will probably have a pretty good idea of where we are trying to end up. But with that said, I'm not going to go ahead and throw any names out there. But I've got a very focused goal on getting on exchanges right now and spreading awareness of the project. So that's why we are coming at this the way that we are. And I with the first exchange, Bitmark, I brought CLS on, and market making is required at a lot of the top exchanges, and so I hired the best, and they'll be there for us every step of the way.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And I think this kind of is, I think you pretty much answered this question, but I'll go ahead and ask it. Anyway, with the success that the project has had, and I think yesterday you hit, well, actually earlier this morning you hit 27 million, which is 1,000x from when you guys launched, back in June. What would you tell the investor today that's saying, did I already miss this one? Am I too late? And like I said, I feel like you just answered that by, you have an end goal of listing on exchanges, which that is going to carry some significant market cap drive with that. But I'll go ahead and give you a chance to expand on that.
Well, again, I'm going to start that off by saying, we're the first SquidGrow. We're not trying to overthrow anybody. But let me ask you this. If you found Shiba Inu at a $20 million market cap, would you ask yourself, were you late?
So I invested in Shiba Inu when it got listed on Coinbase. I will admit that, and I still had a pretty good run with it. So I personally do not feel like I was late. I was considerably late when I look at your situation in perspective to mine, but I still had a very successful investment with that, and absolutely was. I would not consider myself late to that game. So
yeah. So I mean, I kind of hope that answers the question. In my opinion, that we're just getting going. We've not even started coming out and utilizing all of our connections yet. I mean, we're just getting going.
I completely agree with you. I just, it's good to have it out there, and for people to hear that, the project behind it, the owner and the people running the show feel like we're just getting started. And I would encourage everybody to stop in the TG, because I mean, the drive of that community and what's going on with SquidGrow, I mean, the excitement is just, it's like nothing I've ever seen. I did not join TG until, way after my Shiba Inu investment. So I've never experienced, the TG like that. I mean, it is just amazing. I know the Huntsman's in there. Some of the guys that you have in there, Sam, William, Waldorf, like those guys are just a machine. Like they are pumping so much with the Twitter and everything they're doing to promote this. And I would just really encourage people to get over there, because it's amazing. I mean, it really makes you want to go out there and work and tweet for SquidGrow and, work for your investment. And I think, the more people doing that, it's, somebody that says they're too late to it, then, buy a small bag and get in there and go work for it. And I guarantee that you'll get proven wrong. So that's my take. I mean, I'm a big fan of the project. I hope that's, hold on, Huntsman's trying to speak here. So I got one more question for you, and then if it's okay, we'll open it up to some of the listeners. But if you were to take July 29th, 2023. What does SquidGrow look like, and what's success? And then I guess what are your roadblocks there too?
That's a good question, but by trying to touch base on that, I believe that that would kind of be kind of under promising in a way, because obviously I know what my plans are. I know where I'm trying to take this. I've got everybody in place to achieve that. But if for some unforeseen reason we are unable to meet that at that time, um, I would hate to let anybody down by essentially leading them in one direction or another. Does that make sense?
Understood, and I really respect that. That's the approach of not trying to lead people on. I really do value the approach you guys are taking with the under promise over deliver. I've heard you speak to that in an AMA before. Just wanted to throw it out there. I'm not trying to dig. I just really wanted to kind of just throw some of these out there and
Hey,
so.
Versatile. This is the Huntsman.
Hey, Huntsman.
Hey, thanks for having us. I just wanted to touch on that question you asked. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
So the year is 2023. It's July 29th, and Versatile is interviewing a new token in the crypto space. The host asked the developer, "What is your plan to reach the success of SquidGrow into the $1 billion market cap that they set in 2022. That is my idea of where this token's going. I know I'm just a number one fan, but everyone in this space sees the potential of this. So I appreciate Shibtoshi not trying to get everyone hyped on it and overpromise, but we all know where it's going. So.
Yeah, and I agree. Like I said, I've been a big fan, and I mean I've been stocking the TG to prepare for this AMA with you guys, and I mean it's infectious. What you guys are doing over there, Huntsman, in that TG is, I mean, it's absolutely remarkable. I've never seen anything like it. The excitement around SquidGrow is just unbelievable. So I'm glad that I found it. I am really appreciative of the person that turned me on to the project. So with that, are you guys up for taking a few from folks listening in?
Yeah, I'm cool with that. But before we do that, is there a possibility that I can pull my two of my boys up, Bad Anthony and MJ?
Absolutely.
I see they're on here listening. So, Bad Anthony, I came across him in the Safe Moon days. He's a crypto influencer. He's one of my buddies, and as hard as I try, as hard as I tried to get him to jump into this in the early days, he did finally just jump on board. But
Can they request? Can I ask that they request, and then we'll give them permission to speak?
MJ and Anthony, will you request to speak?
Hey, we need to get Funny Donald up here too. He needs to say some words to the community.
Okay, we got MJ requesting, and then
MJ.
Anthony. He still's not okay. There he is. He's requesting as well, and maybe SquidGrow Joe. Maybe we could ease up, and Funny Donald if you'd like to speak.
All right. So we got looks like we got Bad Anthony up and MJ. So anything that you guys would like to add or
Yo.
Hey, what's up, bud?
What's up?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Shibtoshi. Yeah, man. So I'm actually on the pot right now. Flushing the toilet. All right, guys. So yeah, I pretty much got into Safe Moon pretty early. Shibtoshi told me about this project. I was very skeptical too, even though I know the guy has a heart of gold, and I've known him for a while. Got him in, we've invested together in SafeMoon, in Evergrow.
Evergrow.
Evergrow just went crazy. We both made shitload of money. Obviously, he made a lot more money than I did because he has the funds to do that. But yeah, I didn't know how invested he was in this project, in his own project. And so I got in a little late. He made me an offer when the coin launched, and I'm looking at the number of that figure right now when the coin launched, and it's well over six figures. And oh my God, I'm punching myself right now. But I bought in at around 5 million market cap. I threw about 15 grand in, and I'm very happy where I'm at right now. I know Shibtoshi's 100% behind the project. Yeah, man. This is my first time speaking on these spaces. I'm kind of nervous, but I got some
Oh,
videos.
come on, man.
Oh, thanks for coming up.
I got some videos coming out. I don't know if you guys follow my YouTube. Go follow my YouTube channel. I got a TikTok. I'm gonna start making a bunch of SquidGrow videos. But yeah, guys, hella nervous right now.
Yeah, Bad Anthony was one of the first channels that I came across when it came to SafeMoon. He was one of the first SafeMoon channels that I came across, and we've been talking ever since then. So
Yeah.
solid guy.
Right.
I'm glad to have him. I'm glad to have his support, and yeah, glad he's here.
Yeah. And I mean, I think that, one of the things, I mean, I know that the Huntsman's still up here too. I'm not sure if he wants to, let's see. Sorry, I just got a request to unmute somebody.
Yeah, we've got if you can unmute Naim as well. I know that it's pretty busy up here at the moment.
Has he requested?
Yeah, he's got his hand up, he says.
Oh, got him. Okay.
Great.
All right.
Yeah, so I think I have a little bit of time, but
Yeah, go ahead, MJ.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, sir.
Man, thanks for having us on here, and it's really interesting. I was able to do I was able to have the pleasure of doing an AMA with SquidGrow very very early, and what's been cool is, man, I just been chopping it up with sheep every day, man, and it's really been a blessing, and I think that in the end. When I said this last night, and you probably heard it. You say you're at the AMA, but the people that will be, affected by this project in a positive way is powerful. I was just talking to Huntsman about that earlier. Just being a part of it. I mean, obviously we all want to make money in crypto, but I was telling Huntsman earlier, man, I'm excited to be a part of it. It's not like I'm excited to make the money, like obviously in the end, it's going to be, or I shouldn't say in the end, but a lot further down the line, it's going to be really nice to, to have, just some money, but the excitement for me is really just seeing this whole thing unravel, and it's powerful, man, and you'll never find a guy like shit. I mean, what person that has billions of dollars or is worth or net worth billion, however you want to put it, running a project. You have people that are, you have people that don't have money running projects that won't talk to you. And this guy is the busiest guy, on the planet right now. And he's still, finding ways to talk to people in the DMs, and it's in some ways hurting him because, sometimes it gets him in TG jail, which kind of sucks because he needs to be, there's a lot
I'm
of people
always in TG jail,
that he
man.
needs.
I don't know. I don't know why people report me, man. I mean, I'm just answering questions and trying to help out. It's super annoying.
Well,
So,
and I mean, I think that's wonderful about the project too. I mean, I see so many times that Shibtoshi or RW, you guys are tagged in the chat, and I know you guys have spoken to it, but you're actually getting back to, the community and the investors in the project. And MJ, I think exactly to your point, the fact that they're actually accessible, they're putting themselves out there to the community to answer their questions. And I mean, you guys are helping. I know there's so many questions that are coming in, and the DMs that I can't imagine the DMs that you get, but the fact that you are so accessible to the community is unbelievable. I mean, I'm shocked that the project has had the success it has, and you guys continue to make yourselves available, and it speaks to the community. It is something that adds to the infectious nature of everything that SquidGrow is doing right now.
And versatile. I'll say this last thing and then give the mic back because I don't like to take it too long. But you know, for me, obviously there's things that are happening, and you're seeing people on the front lines, and there's a lot of us in the back. But what I'm doing is I'm in a bunch of groups, and Satoshi can attest to this. In some of the group, and one of the groups we're in, one of the well groups, they actually tagged me as preacher because I was in there preaching about SquidGrow. Like, I mean, literally preaching like every day. Like, it's like I'm just going like crazy, like just preaching about it. Like, it's just biblical, and that's what I'm doing in the background, and trying to just do whatever that can add value to the project. I mean, because this thing, just like you said, you're shocked. I'm actually not shocked. I have screenshots saying that this thing is going to be massive. And I believed ever since I did that AMA, and I'm never going to stop believing. So if there's anyone here that's not a part of this project, if there's anyone here that's still thinking like, is this just, are all these guys just in cahoots, trying to make money off of us? Just come over to the TG, get in the project. It's not financial advice, but it is financial advice. You will not be you will not be disappointed, and just for the ride, you'll be excited for what's going on. So thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Thanks, Sheep, for the call out and opening up the mic for me, and everything that you stand for, man. And really appreciate you.
Yeah.
R-Dub
Thank you,
and Dane
MJ.
as well. I appreciate you guys, man, and the community.
Yeah.
So,
All the
but
calls.
I don't mean to drag this out too long, but I would like to hear from Funny Donald and SquidGrow Joe, if that's possible, if we have the time for that.
Sure. I mean, it's your guys' time, so I will keep this going. If you guys want to stick around. So, Funny Donald, I know I brought you up already. I will. I watched your video yesterday, man, and it was fantastic. So, go ahead, Funny Donald.
It's amazing because the squid ink that I talked about leaking into my drawers, I still can't get that out. It's stuck. It's hugely stuck. I don't know what to do to get that out. I was so excited. I can't help myself. All right. So I got to say, Shiptoshi, from one billionaire to another, you are rocking this very strongly. Okay. And what I want to do is offer you unlimited lifetime membership to all my golf courses, and you get a perfect score every time. I am so excited to be a part of this community. The TG chat is fantastic. It makes me happy. A lot of the news recently has made me sad, very sad. Okay. But going into the TG chat and listening to the community, you've got the best community, the strongest community. They make me happy, and I love every minute of it. And I've only been in this thing for like 4 or 5 days, and it makes me so happy. And you can imagine me when I'm happy. Okay. A lot of things continue to rise when I'm very happy, believe me. Okay. And not that I've got any problems with that, but I'm just saying it helps. So, Squid Grow to the moon. You've got a huge believer in me. I love you all.
Well said. Thank you, buddy.
Love it, Funny Donald. Thank you for coming up.
Thank you.
Good luck with the ink.
Oh, will do. I'm probably going to bleach it and light it on fire, honestly. Probably what I'll have to do.
Oh my God, he cracks me up.
Oh man! All right, the newly named SquidGrow Joe. What's happening?
How can I follow that up?
Good luck, buddy.
Yeah, no, listen, I really liked the community, obviously, but and I think Shoji mentioned this earlier in the AMA, but basically it feels like for me the early days of Safe Moon, how everyone was excited, everyone was talking, something new was coming out, speculation was all over the place, and it's the same exact thing like this, except we're seeing more things happen a lot quicker, whether it's listings or more people just joining in every single day. More and more people are joining in the Telegram, and then you're just meeting all kinds of people and talking to them, and it's so fascinating. It's so amazing to see this, and I really, 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 really liked the conviction from Shibtoshi and the team. I mean, these people they honestly truly care about their holders, and to a degree in which they'll talk your ear off, telling you about, hey, listen, we want to do this for the holders. We care about all the It's not just care about like a regular holder or it's care about everyone, from the whales to the average holder to someone that just throwing a couple of bucks in, and that's something that you don't really see with a lot of projects. It's mostly like, hey, yeah, we want more people to join, period. But like you're seeing these guys come in here talking about all the holders and talking about the community nonstop. And like I said, this is something that I've seen early in the Safe Moon days, but it's for SquidGrow, it's just massive. So it's absolutely amazing to see.
Yeah, thank you. And you're absolutely right. I've like I said, I've been kind of stalking the TG, and I think like 1,000 people have joined in just the course of the last 24 hours, 36 hours or something. I mean, it is just continues to take off. So with that, I think who did we have here? RW had asked. Oh yeah, go ahead.
How's it going, everybody? Thank you for unmuting me. I just want to touch up on a couple of things, and I could go on talking about this project for days and not just, minutes or hours. But, I said this yesterday in an AMA, I'm going to say it again. One of my philosophies in life in general is if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. And what I absolutely love about, this project and everything about it is that, and not excluding anybody from the team, everybody brings something valuable to the table, and everybody has been doing just absolutely phenomenal. But everything has been planned so meticulously and so down to the detail. Everybody talks about it's this great community and absolutely bullish, and everything about it is bullish and positive, and there is no toxicity there. And I believe that didn't just, magically, automatically happen. I mean, these guys have literally cracked the code on how to get the community on board. And ultimately, that is what it takes, because the team is the tip of the spear, but ultimately it's the community that definitely pushes it and drives it home. And with that being said, I mean, to be honest, just like MJ said, I'm part of that group where he's been preaching and where he's gotten his tag as the preacher now. And to be honest, when SquidGrow first came out and I first heard about it, I was a little bit skeptical. And just because, there's been quite a few tokens around with that name, and I had just gotten wrecked on a couple of different, meme coins and whatnot. And I said, nah, whatever. And MJ just kept talking and talking about it. And I said, well, you know what? Let me go check it out. And I'm telling you, less than 2 minutes in that Telegram, and I absolutely became a believer. I will be a believer up to billions or wherever this goes, because it has the potential to absolutely go crazy. And just, you can see that by just spending a few minutes in the Telegram group. Just absolutely everything is planned, and their motto even, under promise and over deliver. You don't see that very often in the space anymore. You don't see, all of these plans, and also just having a plan is not necessarily enough. You also have to have the capabilities to be able to execute said plan. And these guys have absolutely everything that it does take. The humility, the humbleness of them is absolutely staggering as well. I mean, I've known AirDub for quite some time in the space. I have just come to know Shibtoshi a little bit in recent days, and I mean, just the fact that, you know, I believe the way we started talking is I went in one of the VCs that they were holding in the Telegram group, and we spoke for 2 minutes, and then I DM'd him, and I mean, he took time out of his day, out of his busy life to just, you know, talk to me for a minute, and that is just absolutely amazing to me, and that just screams volumes of what this team is really about and what they're trying to accomplish. And honestly, I have to say, I mean, you know, we are witnessing something great happening in front of our very eyes. I mean, you know, every time when we see this, and I love that philosophy, you know, that we're not the next whatever, we're the first SquidGrow. And you know, it's absolutely amazing to see the community come together, to get everybody on board, to have zero negativity, to, you know, it's just been an absolute breath of fresh air, and refreshing is probably the word that I would use to best describe this project. And it is something that we definitely have needed, especially in recent days with how the BSC has been, and you know, or crypto in general, as a matter of fact. But I'm absolutely, you know, I consider myself blessed to be here this early and to be a part of this greatness that is happening, that is being built. And I can't wait for the Ethereum bridge to come out. I absolutely believe that will be, you know, another set of whole new investors, and that will push and just do amazing things as far as brand recognition goes. And I mean, like I said, I could go on to talk for hours about everything, and you know, coming from somebody that has had experience with marketing and you know, things like that, it's just absolutely amazing to witness a plan come to fruition, to see how the project team and community are all in perfect unison, in perfect alignment with one another, and it's just absolutely phenomenal. I don't know what else to say, but thank you guys very much for everything that you've been doing, for everything that you continue to do, for giving us a project to restore hope in crypto. And at the end of the day, that's what it's all about. You know, we're all in this space for various reasons, but you know, we've seen it time and time again when community comes together. We've seen it with GameStop, with Dogecoin, with Shiba, with SafeMoon, with Floki, with et cetera, et cetera. And I truly believe that SquidGrow is the next big thing, and that mountaintops will be reached, and you know, in nothing, like absolutely nothing. And keep in mind, guys, this is just the beginning, but you know, truly from the bottom of my heart, I just want to say thank you to all of the team, to all of the community. I love every single one of you guys. It's an absolute honor being on this journey with you. I apologize if I took a little. I'm just really passionate about this project. I truly believe in it, and yeah, absolutely love everything that's been going on.
Yeah, very well said, and thank you so much for coming up to the space. Shibtoshi, Ardub, Dane, you guys ready to take some questions?
Yeah, for sure. Let's do it.
Let's do it.
All right. Evergrow here has had his request here for a while. So Evergrow Paul. Evergrow Paul, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. I was just waiting for you to ask me to talk. I don't know if someone was in front of me or not.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
So hey, how you guys doing? I wasn't planning to come up, but I heard the beginning of my name come in the conversation. And you know, I can just say, I just wanted to say, I heard about this project a few days ago. The formerly known Safe Moon Joe, now SquidGrow Joe, told me about it, and then earlier today, or a couple days ago, I was like, okay, so I put in and I bought in, and then today, about half hour ago, I asked him, I was like, so tell me, you know, what do you think? What makes you so, you know, bullish on this product? He goes, and he sends me this, these spaces, and I come in and start listening to you guys. And you know, just listening to you guys had me sold. I hear it in your voices. I like what I hear. And from me to you guys, from one project to another, I wish you nothing but the best. I'm gonna be along for the ride, and I hope everything turns out great for you and all of the investors, including myself. So good luck, and I'm pulling for you, really am. And great start. Everything you've seen, I think right now you're at 24,800,000 market cap. So congratulations.
Thank you so much, man. I appreciate the kind words.
No problem.
Yeah, thanks for coming up and speaking.
Thank you very much.
Let's see, Nathan, bring you up. Nathan, go ahead and speak if you have a question.
Yes, sir. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Yeah, I have a question. Great project, by the way. One of my questions is, you guys touched a little bit on the legal aspects of the possibility with Netflix, using the name with copyright infringements and stuff like that. I don't know if you guys have talked about that yet, but just curious what you got in that area. Thank you, guys.
Hey, Dane, do you want to touch on that one?
Yeah, so that's that's the thing that a lot of people are concerned with. We've heard that a few times, and I'll let Satoshi speak on it as well. We've actually got a team of legals in the background going through our entire project. Of course, to get listed on the exchanges, this is what you have to do. So those things are being checked, and if there's any adjustments that need to be made in the future, then of course we'll make them. I don't think that's going to happen because a lot of times a company doesn't necessarily want to go after something like us because it's really free publicity. If something like that ever did happen to us in the DeFi level, there's not much they could do, to be honest. But if they did, this is the way I think of it. Netflix brings the hammer down on SquidGrow, right? And that becomes a national headline in the news on mainstream media. What do you think that's going to do to our market cap? Personally, I hope that happens. And we'll be ready for it when it does with the adjustments in our legal teams. But yeah, that would be a blessing in disguise, I believe. And so I'm not too worried about it. But yeah, it is a concern when you kind of like off-brand any type of show or anything like that. So it's something we're aware of. And I don't know if you want to say anything else on that, Satoshi.
Yeah, just we do have we do have attorneys on standby that are actually working for us currently, and they're going through the project. So, as Dane said, if there's any adjustments that need to be made, we'll take them into consideration and adjust accordingly.
Cool. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, thanks, Nathan. Thanks for coming up and speaking. Nikita, brought you up as speaker. Go ahead when you're ready.
Yeah. Hi. You guys can hear
Yeah,
me?
hello.
Yeah. So I'd like to briefly introduce myself. I'm one of the first holders of SquidGrow, and I'm actually from Russia. So I might be the only Russian holder of SquidGrow, but that's not true anymore. But shout out from Russia anyway. Funny Donald, hello. Thank you for your speech. So my question, I actually reverted from it. So the story. Here in Bali, I got to speak with some of the biggest crypto influencers in Russia, and somewhere along the party, I just recommended this coin when it was at around a 1.5 million market cap, and I was like, "Oh my god, these guys! They're playing like some like big games, like Bitcoins, stuff like that. Russians don't play around on BSC, so they don't know stuff about any of the colors that we know." So I was like, oh crap, I'm gonna have to explain all this stuff about this coin, about SquidGrow. And in 5 minutes, one of the biggest influencers in Russia, he has over like 700,000 followers on Instagram. He was like, oh shit, like this contract is actually pretty interesting. And everyone went looking at it. And upon closer inspection, I was like, okay, maybe next day I will maybe talk to the marketing team of SquidGrow. Maybe they will use marketing from Russia. And then the next day, one of them just talks about SquidGrow on his Instagram, and then on his Telegram, and then everyone else. And like, my question was like, if you're are you planning to expand your marketing beyond like the English speaking countries? Do you plan on expanding to Russia and stuff like that? But then I reverted from my question because like this project is so bullish that even the freaking contract promotes itself. Even the freaking contract, the way it's written, is attracting people like big whales from Russia. Man, this is so bullish. I have no doubts. I have zero doubts that this coin will reach 20 billion. That's what I wanted to say. But if you can answer my question, that would be fine. Thank you guys so much. I'm so happy to be part of this.
Hey, thank you for your question. Yeah, man, we are actually looking at expanding into different languages for marketing purposes. We currently have a Chinese Telegram. We are looking at utilizing different tools from our arsenals to capitalize on marketing in different countries. So it's definitely something that we are targeting currently and in discussions with. But in regards to the contract, thank you for that flattery, but I cannot take credit for the contract. The contract was actually provided from another project. The project's name is Poo Chain, and the lead dev there, his name is Brett. So he's got his own contract, and so anybody that knows the story, so we initially launched June 17th. There was an issue with our contract. It was coded for Uniswap, so we had to cease trading, and it was going to take 3 days for me to get a new contract. And one of the team members was in communication with this guy Brett, who is the lead dev of Poo Chain. He's doing some pretty incredible things over there. But he was nice enough to tweak his contract to fit our needs, and that is why we were able to get such a quick turnaround in 24 hours from the first launch to the second launch. So at that time, the new contract came online, added liquidity, and airdropped all of our original holders their tokens 1 for 1, and then we went live. But thank you for that. But I can't take credit for the contract itself. That's all the Poo Chain dev, Brett.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for the question. I think at this point I've brought everybody up. We'll take a last round or last call for coming up. Anybody request to speak that may have a question for the SquidGrow team? Got them here now for you. And again, gentlemen, I greatly we got one coming up, but just again, thank you guys so much for taking the time to walk us through this and come on. It's amazing project. So we got.
I have a question actually, since we're sitting here.
Yeah, go ahead.
And maybe I missed it and I came in late. Where did the name come from? Where did the inspiration for SquidGrow come from?
Well, do you wanna answer, Shibtoshi, or are you happy for me to answer? I don't know if he's there. Yeah.
Oh, sorry,
So
I was muted. Yeah, you can go ahead and handle it.
yeah, the name SquidGrow, obviously it's a combination of, because at the time, it was the Squid Game TV show had come out, and obviously it's an offshoot of that and Evergrow put together. So SquidGrow.
That's it exactly.
I would love. I mean, I wasn't expecting you to say it's like of Evergrow inspired. I wasn't even think. I mean, I thought about it, but I was like, nah. I mean, and then I heard you guys saying you were investors early in Evergrow, so I was like, oh, maybe that was. But I mean, that's super flattering, and put them both together, and why not?
Exactly.
I think it's great, man. Like,
Thank you.
I'm very excited for you guys. So, Joe actually, talked me into it, and I looked over everything, kind of like what I saw. So, I'm very happy to be involved.
Thank you, Paul.
Thanks, Paul. Vonsi, you want to unmute and
Hi
ask your
everyone.
question?
Yes,
Hello.
sure. Yeah, I don't have a question. I just wanted to say thank you guys so much for setting this up. I was quite skeptical about buying SquidGrow. And then I kept asking, who's this owner? Is it not a rug pull again? Because we're sick and tired of these rug pulls. So I'm quite happy to say I'm glad that I came across this legit project, and we're quite happy to see it grow. And thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks for coming up in your comment. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
We got a few more. You guys good for a couple more? We'll call it after these two.
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay. All right. Got Lorindo coming up to speak. You got a question? Hello.
Hi guys. I just wanted to say congrats on the project on the AMA. SquidGrow is truly bullish. There's been a long time since I've seen a project like this in BSC. Community is everything, and man, SquidGrow community is awesome. Reminds me of the good days of some Dodge tokens. What I wanted to say, and I wanted to tell the team, is when the JITs leave, when there's absolutely only diamond hands in the project, please take a look at Titano Play. Titano is a project. You probably know it, a high APY project. They have a utility. It's called Play. Play is seriously one of the most underrated utilities there are in the fight. It's really good. Just want to leave the heads up and keep up the good work. I'll keep supporting you. I'm one of those guys that don't sell. I go with my tokens to the grave. Congrats, man. Good night.
Hey, thank you. Thank you for your word.
And last one, we will go with, what do we got here? Goodness Me. Goodness Me, go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Go ahead.
I thought you just talking. It's really nice to be here. I'm from UK, so I'm a working class man. I've been rack pulled probably 100 times. I don't know why, because people's psychology works a different way. But to be honest, when I seen the SquidGrow came on the coin market cap, I said, I don't care. I want to be rack pulled again, and I'm going to buy it. I did not study. I did not do any research or anything. I just bought it straight away, right on the beginning. So obviously, after that, I figured out that it's already killed 3 zeros or something, like it's been in here for months, but it kept going up and up. And I was just thinking, how much return people are getting who actually been in from the beginning. Well, lots of people saying they've been skeptical. Now that I'm here, I get stressed out sometime. What I mean, if it's really true, if it happens like Shiba Inu or something like Dogecoin and stuff, few million % goes to 10 billion market cap, which looks like going to happen. I've been telling all my friends and families and everyone, they're just putting their phone down on me because you are mad, you lost all your money, you keep going on about it, get out of it, blah, blah, blah. But I've just been listening to this conversation for that long time. And I think, I don't know what to think, but it's just making me sweating that is it really the change of life? For loads of people needed a chance who has been late on the crypto, like me, trying to grab something, trying to get a grip. If it's really happening, which I believe, I mean, I don't know how you turn your good luck from bad luck. If you talk too much, sometimes it goes down to bad luck. So I don't want to speak too much, but appreciation and thanks a lot. But I'm trying to get lots of people into it. I'm trying to tell them that, look, there goes you mad, because I play cricket and I've got loads of people I know, cricketers and stuff. I'm just finishing my season now. One of the best players in Northeast England. I have a good records, but I always believed in people. I have so much trust on other people. That's always, I've been doing it all my life. And I kept losing and I kept losing and I kept losing. But I think this is the last one. This is the one, is the right one I'm trusting on and believing on. And I don't care. When I believe in something, I do it. I don't care if I lose, but if I gain, I give it to other people. I can help more other people. So trust is more important. And I always believe in nice to be people. You got to be nice to everyone, no matter how much they hurt you. Be nice to them. Then the God will listen to you. God will give you something back. We're not here forever, but we are here for SquidGrow. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you.
Hey, thank you for your kind words.
And Shibtoshi, the last person, if you don't mind, one more. It's just because I recognize him from Twitter as pretty much a SquidGrow tweeting rock star, and looks like Phantom wanted to come up and ask a question. I just know he's out there
Let's have it.
tweeting hard. So go ahead, Phantom.
I appreciate it. Well, I just wanted to say the community is amazing. It truly feels like a family. But my question was about the F chain. I was just curious if you were planning on providing the same utilities for the holders over there as the BSC people have, like for staking, for example.
You're asking if when we bridge to Ethereum, we're going to provide all the same utilities?
Yeah, correct.
Yeah, yes, we will. All utilities will be equal on both chains.
Awesome, very cool.
So any new development on one or the other will be implemented on the opposite chain, and every chain going forward.
Sweet. Thanks for answering.
Great. Well, thank you guys. Appreciate all of those that came up and asked a question. Just absolutely fantastic project. Shibtoshi, Ardub, Dane, greatly appreciate your time coming on to Versus Spaces to talk about SquidGrow. Our whole team is really excited about it and been supporting the project as well. So I can't thank you guys enough. It really means a lot to our team and great to have you on. So best of luck with everything moving forward with SquidGrow, and any closing remarks that you guys would like to say?
I just wanted to thank everybody for coming out, asking their questions, getting to know us a little bit, and just encourage everybody to join the Telegram group. Even as just a community member, you don't have to invest. Just come over, ask your questions, get to know us, and hopefully we can convince you to take a chance with us. And trust and believe that we're doing everything in our power in the background to further the outreach of the project.
Yeah, thanks for having us, guys. And as Shibtoshi said, if anyone has any questions, always feel free to send us a DM. We're always available. I've actually been responding to DMs pretty much the whole time that I've been doing this as well. So it's kind of nonstop, but we love talking to the community members. So yeah, come and say hello. And thank you so much for having us today.
Absolutely. Thank you guys so much. Thanks, the community. And with that, we will wrap the spaces. Thanks, everybody. Have a great weekend.
Thanks for having us.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, guys.